talk a little bit about maybe what this is a pushback on, or what you're trying, like where the motivation to build near really comes from and what that's grounded in.
So I would say there are kind of two sides. There's a pragmatic side, which is, like some of our background is in AI, like my background is AI, and we're actually trying to build something else first. It was my co-founder, and we built a crowdsourcing system which needed to pay people. Like we wanted to pay people, and they were like around the world, like actually very global community we had there. And we just had trouble sending money from our US bank account to China, to Russia, to Ukraine, to Cuba, right, where we had some people working from. And so a lot of it kind of spanned from that is like there's always kind of this bottlenecks and limitations that actually hurting people, normal people more than actually, I mean, sometimes even the people that were supposed to, like who was they were supposed to, right? The kind of people who are financing something or money laundering. On the other side, there's a systematic problem, which is kind of if you're a for-profit, big company, you are trying to become monopoly. This is just like the inevitable state of what you're trying to do. And so, and you kind of see that, like, so I worked at Google and I saw that kind of happening. I mean, I was somewhat late already, but you can see kind of Google's progression from just don't be evil, really trying to be on the right side, being very conscious about decisions they're making, and then over time starting to make more and more for-profit decisions because they see, Facebook is doing something like, oh, we should do that too, right? Like, oh, they're tracking users in this way. Well, we should do it too. And so like they actually kind of almost given up on some of the principles they themselves established originally, right? There was a huge disaggregation between different departments so to make sure the data is not getting leaked between and stuff like this. And so all that was kind of going away because there's, this motivation of generating more profit, of generating more revenue. And so like it's not like for me, it's not even about specific people who are running these companies. I think it's a systematic kind of a corporation approach that requires. And so if we don't want to live in that world where it's few companies that are monopolies, because compared to before tech, where there was a lot of kind of like there's multiple companies that could coexist and be like reasonably large and still like railways and others were still monopolies. In tech you can be monopoly like globally. There's no way to to take over that, right? And so what again Web3 is offering us is changing the model, right? Giving it back to the user, giving back the ownership to the user as well, and also motivating users to come in the first place through this. And so we have kind of for the first time an ability both to break these monopolies and also create something that is actually non-monopolizable in a way. And this is why, like for me, Web3 is not about decentralization. I think decentralization is just a tool. What it is about is low switching costs. Like if we are actually achieve low switching costs, right, at every single level, like I as a user, as a company, as a project, as anything can switch reasonably with low switching costs, we are at kind of perfect competition in a way then because everybody needs to compete all the time to be able to actually be the best place where people are running. And so, and like you can see this like when we talk about validators, like on a protocol level, like the switching cost is low. Like new validators can come in, all can come out. With wallets, with RPCs, with with all of the stuff, you can always enter your seed phrase in another wallet, switch RPC endpoint. Like it doesn't matter that this specific wallet is centralized. It's the fact that you can switch to something else and it's really cheap for you. And so this wallet needs to be really good so you don't switch to something else. That's really kind of how I see this vision kind of coming. And so, and like kind of going against some of the existing thing that is trying to really make switching costs like as expensive as possible or ideally impossible because they just buy everybody out who you would switch to. And so you don't have alternatives in the first place.